Hey, you're listening to another episode of Rogan Radio. Tonight we have a special guest in the studio. His name is Bob Ash, and Bob Ash and I, we go back. Bob, how long? Forever. When did you move?
20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years?
Way back.
So it's the real Bob Ash,
It's
not that substitute
we have two Bob Ashes. That's what's funny. We have a Bob Ash and we have a Bobby Ash, and I get confused sometimes. Bob and I, we've lived together twice, or not lived together.
Whoa, hey.
We've lived next to each other twice. We lived next to each other in East Shinston. We were neighbors, and then when I actually moved, because you were living here at the Snob Knob before I was.
Absolutely.
And then we were neighbors again, quite ironically. I think that might be the only reason I moved up here, because I had some kind of a fetish or something like that.
Maybe
That could
I was
be.
gonna say maybe you're stalking.
We
him.
were friends from way back.
Bob, the cool thing about Bob is that Bob is the very first person I ever drank a beer with during the flood of '85.
So that's the only cool thing about
You
him.
guys
Salud.
didn't buy those beers. You guys
No,
weren't old enough to buy those beers. huh?
No, absolutely not. Because the great thing about it, Ed had a refrigerator full of what was the beer of choice?
It was probably Stroh's.
Whatever you can get your hands on.
It was something way back old.
It was Stroh's, and we'll say it was Stroh's. And the
Alex from Stroh's.
flood of '85. The thing is, I can remember driving home from Lincoln High School, and we were going over to East Shinston. We looked down at the bridge going over to West Side, but the water was so high, it was absolutely bizarre.
It was crazy.
It was.
That's why they called it a flood.
No. This was the flood of '85.
I was here in the flood of 85.
So it wasn't really like a flood. It was
a
the flood
flood.
of '85.
It was like a
flood of
Noah
85.
flood. And I tell you something else. Here's a little known secret. Bob and I are also, don't destroy that. Bob and I were also cooks. You remember when we were cooks with the
with the hot dog.
with the hot dog?
With the hot dog.
There were I don't even know where I don't even remember where the hot dog came from.
Who knows? But who knows who ate it?
So anyway,
Well, I want to know is what happened. Where did the hot dog
well,
go?
for whatever reason, Bob and I decided to make this hot dog, and we doused it in Clorox and about everything, didn't we?
It was bad.
It was
bad.
everything toxic that would kill a normal person was on this hot dog, and we threw it out in the middle of the road. And the next morning, we woke up.
There was 100 dead pigeons. And
No. The
Dead
funny
cat?
thing was there was no hot dog anymore.
It dissolved.
We don't know whatever happened to that hot dog.
Three
we-
dogs in the
Did you start
neighborhood
seeing
died.
the wanted signs for Pudgy? Our missing dog is not here. Where's Fluffy? We don't know where Fluffy is.
That's how we determined who was going to get pregnant next in East Shinston, is when the dogs died, not the rabbits died.
Walk, 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 walk.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Hey, anyway, we've had a very stressful month, and we really do appreciate you guys sticking around with the podcast. The podcast, we were just voted.
Podcast of the month, buddy.
It's almost been a a month ago already since we've been voted podcast of the month, which is fantastic. You know, we
All thanks to you.
no, not necessarily, but
No, I wasn't. Not you. All thanks to you.
all the listeners,
All of you.
that's
Because the only
fantastic.
way we got that is because people went on there and they clicked Rogan Radio.
It's definitely not
Podcast
because
the
of
month.
us.
Yeah, that would be true. That would be true. We bribe them with free stuff.
Yeah.
And once again, we want to remind you some of the cool places you can listen to us. You can listen to us on Stitcher, on SoundCloud. You can also listen to us on the iTunes. And the Google Play Music now has Rogan Radio
Speaking
on
of
it.
that, we probably need to give away another $100 gift card.
Listen, I'm telling you what. Well,
What are the likes up to? Like 14, almost
Yeah, I thought we were
1,500?
supposed to do that like 1,000 or something.
we
I think you tried to slide that under.
originally the plan was, and I appreciate you bringing that up, is
sure he does.
the plan was to every 500 listeners give away $100, and
We're
then
400 over.
yeah, we're a little bit over that, but we've been slacking. We've had holidays and stuff, man. Plus, Chuck hasn't been working a lot of overtime lately, so that kind of hurts the pocketbook. We had a great time up at the Duggar Dance at the Best Western. Really appreciate you guys supporting us. Out of the Duggar Dance, we came up with a secret society, which involved. You know what? Mark Coffey, out of all people, you wouldn't believe that. He brought up some moonshine, with some peaches in it. I guess it was a peach moonshine. Bobby missed that action, and for whatever reason,
Dwah, dwah, dwah.
No one knows what happened to the peaches.
we really don't know what happened to the peaches, and we really don't know what happened after 11 o'clock. No one can remember. That's why we call it the secret.
Maybe-
Oh, I
Society.
remember.
Yeah, I remember what happened after 11
You
o'clock.
don't remember what happened after 11 o'clock.
It was a.
You woke up with a hot dog covered in Clorox stuck in your
Right?
Yowza.
In your crawl.
Yowza.
1,479 people, by the way, on Rogan Radio. We get 5 out of 5 stars.
And we have to. We have some new listeners too. I was looking up today, and believe it or not, we have 2 new listeners in the Republic of Russia or the Russian Federation or whatever.
No way.
I wish I could say their name, but it's all in things that I can't even begin to even. I wouldn't even be able to pronounce because it all looks like C's and H's to me. But we really want to thank the worldwide audience, especially in our new listeners in the Federation of Russia or the Russian Federation, or we'll just call it the Soviet Union because that's what we're used to saying here in the United States.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. As always, you can leave a text or whatever with us at 681-222-ROGN at 7646. Listen, it's just a crazy ride right now, and with summertime coming up, we normally do a podcast about every week. We hope to continue to do that, and we also, on top of that, do a thing we call the social hour, and we've just recently been.
I got this. Keep talking, baby. I'm trying to get some Russian for our new Russian friends.
Oh,
Watch
okay.
this. Oh, hold on. Watch this. This is
You might want to turn the
Yeah, you know.
yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Ready?
Спасибо, Россия.
Oh,
Man,
nice. Thank you, Russia.
I love her.
I'll tell you what.
I love her.
Спасибо, Россия.
Type in there, I love Firefox. 'Cause that was a good movie with Clint Eastwood when he went in.
Sorry
into
for
the city.
taking all your mail order brides.
Hey, listen, some of that Russian porn is really hot, by the way. They do this ballerina stuff, and it's absolutely insane. Where was I? What was I even talking about?
I don't even know. Russian porn.
No, it was well before that. Oh well, it doesn't matter.
Я люблю русское порно.
I love Russian
She is
porn.
beautiful.
So we're just
Я
making.
люблю русское порно.
I like that. It just it makes English sound so.
It kind
raw.
of just flows right off the tongue, doesn't
Have
it,
we-
Chuck?
Я
Have
люблю
I got something to
русское
flow.
порно.
What is it? Have we been remaining kind of consistent as far as the top 5 countries, or have they been like kind of in and out?
Well, that's
going
what I mean.
Have you
'cause
even checked it?
I've been kind of slacking. The United States is always first. UK
Yeah.
is normally second. Japan has fallen off the block. Japan
'cause
is
we
not
don't
there
have
anymore.
Bruce anymore.
Yeah, we need to get Bruce back in here. By the way, Bruce and Betty Post, they have a birthday coming up on the Sunday, the 29th. So, but it's Memorial Day weekend, which is going to be kind of hard for us to celebrate. But we're going to do something anyhow. The cicadas are out. We're going to talk about that. And this big thing with the volcanoes, there's a lot of activity. They just had another volcano blow up down there in South America somewhere. And my goodness, I tell you, and it was a small volcano, but the destruction that it caused and the pollution that it causes from all the sodium oxide, I guess, the SO2 flowing through the
You've
air.
been doing your homework.
Oh, I'm fascinated right now with volcanoes for whatever
I'm
reason.
fascinated now with Amelia Earhart. I watched a documentary on her, Dave. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, that would be a good thing.
Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
There's a show on Netflix. I can't remember where this guy goes around and finds all this shit from the history and all that.
Yeah,
He did a big thing on Amelia Earhart today. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know about her.
Hey, listen, we need to actually talk about that. I never thought about it because we have so many things on the plate right now. We have the Kennedy assassination.
Still hot on the plate.
We have, after since '63. I mean, how many years has it been? And we're still talking about that.
Yeah, 20.
We have the new Ghostbusters movie coming out. We need to get Jeremy on the
I
phone.
think Ducko's going to love it.
Oh my
Man,
goodness! I'll
he's
tell you what.
boycotting it.
Were you a big? What was your favorite movie of the '80s, Bob? I mean, you have so many to choose from. You
Well,
have
the
Top
80s,
Gun.
there's a lot of
and
movies in the 80s.
Top Gun. You have Risky Business. You have all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Was Ghostbusters even? Did it even
Weird science.
Did it even come to the? Do you even think about Ghostbusters, or is that just like one of those movies that you saw?
It was one of those movies I saw. But
Yeah.
do you remember driving to school and listening to
Music.
music?
No, it was.
Podcasting?
Bob had
We
a.
went to back streets listening to Top Gun.
You went to the
and we,
back door?
We went to back streets
back street through town.
in the
Back streets in
TC3.
town. That's where other people hung out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
but that's where we would listen. We would have Top Gun, and we would have what? Oh my goodness, what was the name of that song with it had Sting in it. Sting was a background vocal in it.
Come on, help me out. I can look it
Oh
up.
my goodness, I
can
used
look it
to
up.
be able to remember everything, but I can't remember. Oh shit, man, I hate when I do that.
I can
Here's the
remember.
thing, though.
I remember going through the back streets of Shinston, listening to that one song by Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins. We had Miami Vice.
It was.
But we had
Miami Vice. We had.
what was the one with
I'm going to share a photo of my Eggo waffle.
it's
tub.
not that one.
You got to turn the volume off.
What was the one with oh my god, I can't remember.
Here's my thing: is Ghostbusters in its own right. Yeah,
I want my MTV. Who sang that song?
I want
My MTV.
Oh, that
Dire
was,
Straits.
Dire Straits. Yeah.
Dire Straits.
Yep.
Dire Straits. And we used to jam to that thing all the time.
Yep.
And then Jimmy Taylor.
We always used to try to leave before he got out the door.
And how many times we would say,
Probably listen to a lot of Barry Manilow.
this is great because Jimmy Taylor, Jimmy Taylor used to live next to us also, and Bob would always say, "Hey, you want to ride?"
You want to ride?
And Jimmy would say, "Of course." So Bob would sit there, and right before Jimmy got into the car, Bob would speed away. It was
The
exactly
good
like
days.
that.
The good
It was
days.
exactly like that. So, you have the Dire Straits on there. Listen, I haven't heard that song. No, that's a commercial for MTV.
That's it.
Dire Straits was it was money for nothing or whatever.
Yeah, it was the money for nothing.
Money for nothing.
Money for nothing
I want my MTV.
money for nothing and the chicks for free. And what's great is that was when MTV actually showed music
Well,
videos.
it stood,
Yeah.
MTV actually stood for music television.
Yeah, music television. I remember watching when I was in middle school. Now you can't even modify. I don't care though. I don't
What
watch
was the show they had on there? The where they all lived in the same house.
Full House.
No, it wasn't
Fuller
Full
House?
No.
It was
Damn,
that
see,
Road
listen-
Rules or something.
No, it was sort of like on that same principle. See,
Cribs?
this is what. No, it's hell. This
Remember
is,
they had Puck and all those weirdos
yeah,
on there.
they would be in San Francisco one year or whatever, and then they would be in L.A. and they were in Lumberport one year, and I think and
We're in Lumberport one year.
but that's
You
too
know,
funny.
when I think of Ghostbusters, yeah, it was a great 80s movie, but when I think of the greatest 80s movies, I think of Top Gun, Ferris Bueller's
Right.
Day Off, a lot
Weird
of the John
Science.
Hughes, like Weird
Oh,
Science,
yeah.
stuff like that. I Ghostbusters is great, but Jeremy will kill me, but I don't think it's in my top
See,
10.
and I tell him that all the time. I was like, because Jeremy, he was.
Well, he was like born in 1990, so he doesn't know.
Yeah,
he-
late 80s or something.
But when we were, like with this new movie coming out, he's a Ghostbusters freak, right? And we're going to get him on the phone here after a bit because he'll cuss us off.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, and that's what I tell him because he actually thinks Superman the Motion Picture is actually a pretty good
the
movie
first
too.
one. He's like, oh yeah, that's a great
Listen,
movie.
and we tell him,
it's
it's like,
the
listen,
worst
we
movie.
were alive when that movie came out, and that movie sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Christopher Reeve on little cables and
showed
stuff.
that he wasn't Superman.
Yeah.
How's he doing right now? What's he making? What I haven't seen him in a movie for a long time.
Oh, that's wrong.
What?
Listen, I just saw him make a video with Prince and Michael Jackson
Yeah.
and Kurt Cobain. Actually,
I think Whitney Houston was singing backup vocals.
man, we could go in this whole death thing forever. You know what I mean? Vincent Price was doing his voiceovers. But the crazy thing about it is when Ghostbusters came out, once again, I liked Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad movie at all.
But
a
it's
good movie.
it's not something that when I see it, it's on. If it's not, it's not. You know what I mean? I don't go out of my way to look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for what it was, for when it was good. But
Go ahead and get Ray Parker Jr. and Ghostbusters up there.
Oh,
I mean, this is
we
the
get
thing.
Jeremy to call in for this.
Now, the best thing about Ghostbusters for me wasn't actually the movie, and this is terrible. I mean, the movie was good. I mean, like Stripes, part of Stripes was good. I like Stripes, but but I tell you what, more importantly than the movie, I like the song.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Ray
yeah,
Parker
yeah,
Jr. He did it right. There it is. Just crank that thing up there.
I
I'm
got you,
scratching
buddy.
my nose. I got some kind of itch going on.
You maybe got a little booger in there. You want to get that
No, it's not that. I think I have a yeast infection up there.
in your nose?
Yeah, I think so. But go ahead and yeah. See, now that's what I'm talking about. And then when you watch a video like this, we're watching a video on the one of the laptops here. when you see Ray Parker Jr. sing this, then all of a sudden you're seeing hot chicks, and I love that style. I love the
See, that's different. We're talking about hot chicks on a video. I mean,
that's what I mean. I mean, she's got her pants pulled up to her tits. She's got all these buttons on all over her shirt. You know what I mean?
Isn't that
It's
funny?
like
Now,
classic 80s.
now the
It's
girls,
absolutely
now the
great.
girls take the pants and pull them down as far as they can. But back then they pulled them
Yeah.
up as high as they would go.
You know what? That's why it kind of stunk to be us living and growing
No,
up. in
we
there.
didn't know any better.
I didn't realize though he was Lando Calrissian.
He was not Lando Calrissian.
Ray Parker Jr. was absolutely Lando
Lando
Calrissian.
Is it Calrissian or Calrissian?
Hey, listen, man. Hey, by the way, did you see the new thing with the there's a new video that might have leaked, actually a poster that might have leaked for episode what is it? 8, 7. That might have revealed the new. It's 7, 4, 5, 6.
7 was out.
7.
We're looking at 8.
Yeah, I guess so.
I saw it.
Ooh.
The Rogue Nation.
Is that what it's
Well,
called?
The Rogue Nation.
Rogue Squadron.
Rogue's going to be coming
Yeah.
out this week.
They showed-
or this
year.
December.
Yeah, this-
Yeah, number 8's next year.
Right. But
You
you,
big-
you saw the poster for 7 or 8.
for the actual sequel of 8, I guess.
8
Yeah.
would be,
The
yeah.
8.
Yeah. No, you know
It's the Rogue
something.
something.
Rogue Squadron.
I don't know.
Rogue
Rogue
that's the one that-
Squadron
it's-
is the one coming out this year.
Right.
That's just a backstory. It has nothing to
Right.
do with,
Which
we
I-
got 7, Force Awakens. Now number 8 will be next year.
Yeah,
No, I
this
tell
is
you
just
what.
an anthology film, I think, right stuck in between them.
No,
but
I-
before episode 4.
Now, is the Rogue, the new Rogue Squadron one, or whatever the hell it's called, is it centered right before A New Hope or right
Yeah.
before Return of the Jedi? Because they're stealing Death Star plans, but there were 2 Death Stars, of course.
Yeah.
Great point.
Well-
Great point.
You can't tell from the previews at the movies.
Yeah, you can't. I don't know.
That,
where
that's
it's
you
set
know what
in,
that's
you know what I
that's-
mean. If it's set in between,
I'm guessing this though. I'm guessing it's going to be before number 4 for the mere fact that they can bring Darth Vader back.
they could bring them back before.
Well, yeah, you're
the other
right
one,
too. They
too.
could do that too.
I'm going to
I've never
go
thought
out on a
about
limb
that.
and say episode 4.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. That's everything
Just
I've
because,
heard is episode 4.
Well, just because they are making another one in between episode 8 and 9, they're
Right.
going to have another standalone. But I thought that had to deal with like bounty hunters and stuff.
And
I don't
absolutely,
know.
and I can tell you this about the Star Wars movies: the sequels, I think, are not going to be that good because they have to play off of each other. Where I think these independent flicks, these off-year kind of things, like this Rogue Leader or whatever the hell it's going to be called, coming up in December, I think those are going to be where the money's at because they can just make an hour and a half, 2-hour movie, and it's going to be they don't have to worry necessarily about story too much with the next movie coming out, and they can make some really badass stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, the freaking trailer looked phenomenal.
And
Oh, man.
Hey.
Now, didn't you say this is a Star Wars war movie? You know what I mean?
You're talking about the
Rogue Squadron.
yeah, it's going to be. They call it. It's going to be an action flick, and it's going to be absolutely. You can go ahead and just go ahead. There's going to be. And they call it like a Private Ryan of Star Wars, which is going to be a Saving Private Ryan of Star Wars. It's going to be just nothing but explosions and shooting and stuff like that, which is going to be pretty badass, actually. But what was the Battlefront? You have Battlefield. EA makes some great games, and they're actually coming out with a Battlefield 2, or a Battlefront 2. But do you have any idea? I just read this story. Now, Bob, Battlefront is on the consoles. It's a Star Wars game. Okay, but you know why it was only multiplayer and there was no single player campaign?
Rogue One. No, right there.
Yeah. Well,
Rogue One.
Oh no,
Rogue
no,
One
no,
is
no,
in
no!
the
I'm talking
middle.
about the game.
Yeah, I
now.
jumped right in there.
I'm talking about the game. There's the reason there was
maybe because they didn't. I don't know. They want to give spoilers away or something.
the reason there was no story or a campaign in Battlefront was because they wanted that game to come out at the same time as the movie. Two things happened. One, they didn't have enough time to make a campaign, and 2, they didn't want to give anything away.
No spoilers.
Yeah, so it was just basically a multiplayer game. So that,
Yeah, I
but-
didn't mind it.
No, hell, it's a great game.
It's a great game.
I mean, I played it at least twice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you
that
turned
was
your
in
PS4
November.
on maybe twice.
Maybe I played the hell out of the game until the Division came out.
Yeah.
Now I can't get back into
I played
Battlefront
it the other
now.
day. I played Battlefront the other day. It was great, but I got my book handed to
And
me.
I tell you what, we need to get Maddie on the phone. We'll talk about Volcanoes and Battlefield 1, going back to World War I. And I tell you what, that's going to be.
Have you seen the
Battlefield
trailer?
1 looks
Have
awesome.
you seen
tell
the
you
trailer
something.
for that? That is going to
Let me
be
tell you
good
something.
shit.
If I could be a gunner in the back of a biplane shooting
That
shit
is
out of stuff, that's
awesome,
going to be
man.
badass. That's going to be badass. That's going to be an aspect of a video game that it's going back. And you know what? There's going to be another Battlefield game they're talking about already, heading back to World War II. So where everybody wants COD to go back to.
But I liked Battlefield 4 too, and it was kind of modern, but it was classic Battlefield. Though.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
drive choppers, and you know.
I think it's getting to the point now that now though, with especially with the Call of Duties, it's just way too Halo-ish. And I loved Halo because it's Halo, but
Back
I
in the
didn't.
day.
You know, Halo wasn't starting out at the Civil War, ending up on Mars.
But you know
with
what I
laser
think?
guns.
You know what I really think? I really think me and Todd should have a separate podcast based on this
Okay.
because we're the only ones that really play games
Wow.
anymore.
Can we just come in here? Can we use the studio and all your facilities? You can sit in the other room and listen if you want. Chime in.
We'll call it the Todd and Jimmy Show while Chuck and Bob go drink beer.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good to
I'd
me.
be it.
I'll listen to that.
Hey, listen, we really want to thank you for listening to Rogan Radio. Once again, make sure and please leave a review on iTunes and on our Facebook page at facebook.com/RoganRadio. You can also catch us out on YouTube. That's where all the videos are. We do a lot of stuff as far as videos go, not only the podcast, but, you know, we just did this thing up at Lincoln, and we do various other different things. And... No, Todd's mocking.
No, listen. Honest to goodness, if anybody's listening, go to Rogan Radio on Facebook and watch that graduation video.
It's
we
on
did.
YouTube also.
Or on YouTube. YouTube's
Yeah.
the way to go because you can watch it in its full glory in 1080p. Facebook, they dumb it down, but man, you got to check that out. Even if you're not
turned
from
out really
around
well.
here, even if you're not from this local area, go on to Rogan Radio and you put a link in there, I think, for YouTube also, didn't you?
Yes.
Go on there and check that out, man. Damn, it turned out good.
Yeah, it turned out really well. Go ahead and give us a ring anytime you want with a quote or just a text. We use both, and we really appreciate that at 681-222-ROGN. That's 681-222-7646. You're listening to Rogan Radio. Hey, we're back on Rogan Radio, and we have a full house tonight.
Thank goodness.
We have Bob, we have Jimmy, we have Todd, and Mark Coffey. Where's Mark's hand?
Where is Mark?
There is Mark's hand back there. All
I
right.
told Mark to pull a chair up so he can sit with us, and he said no, he didn't want to. I said, why not?
Listen, a lot of weird stories going on right now, and one of them has got to be this story where I had no idea this was going on, where dudes are dressing up as dogs. They're dog dressers. Oh. And you know what? And for whatever reason, they like to dress up as dogs, and they like to act like dogs. And which I made a kind of like a public thing today, saying that my yard is for the pissing pleasure of for real dogs only. I mean, that's bizarre that you have to say that, but you know what? I don't have necessarily a
Well, you don't have
genetic
So
a
which
genetic neutral bathroom. I have a.
But see,
can
listen, you're discriminating because which bathroom they can't go to a bathroom. They are identifying as a dog, so they can't go into a men's. Now they can't go into a woman's.
Okay.
They got to use your tree, and you're discriminating
I am
against
absolutely
Well,
the
here,
people.
listen. Here's what I'm wondering: if you're a dog, right? Say you're a little cocker spaniel, woof, woof,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, wow,
You're a
you
little
know,
cocker
I look like a
spaniel.
dog and I walk like a dog, but maybe I'm a cat. So does the dog go to take a shit in the litter box,
Maybe.
or does it go outside like a dog?
I mean, I've seen dogs go over and eat the turds out of the litter box.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just wondering if you smack your dog with a newspaper if it tries to take a poo into the litter box. You should probably let it because if you
We ought
don't,
to try
then-
that for people that want to go in the women's bathroom. Then a guy smack him with a newspaper and see if he goes into the men's.
But the bizarre thing is there are actually guys literally dressing up as dogs, acting like dogs, walking around, and being dogs. Because they identify with being dogs. No, it's to the point of being craziness now.
That's crazy.
Don't you think?
I think
Yeah.
they just do that so they can get on Facebook.
That's attention.
Who the hell would dress up like a damn dog?
You know what? The funny thing is,
That
though,
guy sitting
there's
right
a
there in a
guy. We're looking at a
Dalmatian
story here. He's in a Dalmatian outfit, like Jimmy said. The crazy thing is, though, you don't know who that guy is. The strange thing that I find is the picture of his girlfriend or wife or whatever
Yeah.
with the leash on and all this. She's actually getting her picture taken.
I mean,
you know, her
Because
peg
we
to
all
her
know
face.
who that is.
So I'm thinking, you know, why would you be with a dude who's dressing up as a dog and you're walking him around the park
I mean,
playing
I've heard
frisbee?
stand by your
and-
man, but stand by your dog too, I guess. I don't
That's
know.
Yeah,
it.
it says around 10,000 people follow this pet play craze.
Oh, at least.
in the UK. So as long as they keep it
No,
over
at least
there,
they're
I guess.
crazy over there.
Well, this is a UK story, yeah. So that
Yeah.
means, you know, there's probably about 45,000 people in the United States.
Yeah,
doing
right.
it. Insane, absolutely bizarre how things are these days.
weird.
And the what was the thing that another thing that I saw that I thought was pretty cool were the this thing at Kohl's. I mean, you know, Star Wars is absolutely a big thing, and there's this chick on Facebook
Phenom.
now. You know, it's a viral deal. You put this mask on, and they have all kinds of different masks, but she has this Chewbacca mask on, and you put it on there, and it literally looks like she's talking, and it's absolute. I want one of those, but I don't necessarily want a Chewbacca one.
I heard those things are going for like $200 now, and you can't even find them because of
Oh,
this.
because of her. I think they said the first 24 hours she had this post on Facebook, she got like 44 million views.
Dude,
or
it's up.
something.
It was over 120 million last time.
Listen.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
She even has the Chewbacca moves down. That's hilarious.
She's a winner.
Look at her. But the best part about it is when you put that thing on your face like that. I mean,
Of course, now listen, she's laughing, so she has her mouth open. But then it makes the Chewbacca noise.
but it fits her face so good. It fits her face so well. I mean,
Oh, listen, she corrects me up,
Did you see where Coles came and thanked her and
Yeah.
gave her all the masks and
Yeah.
gave her
oh,
a
no
bunch of
kidding,
junk, man.
no kidding. That is great. That is absolutely fantastic. But that's just like you give me like a Darth Vader or a Luke Skywalker or a Han Solo, something like that.
I don't care. It
Because
would not be funny as that right there.
Well, the great thing about that particular video is that it fits her face perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, she puts this Chewbacca
Well, she
thing
kind
on.
of
and
has
it-
a little round face.
well, and she
but
has the
God bless
hair.
her.
She has the hair and everything else that
Yeah.
fits.
It's just
And-
a good.
Oh,
feel
yeah,
good-
yeah.
feel
You
good
see how
and
it's
video.
coming out
perfectly
around the
white
sides.
teeth on that mask and everything else. It's just, and then every time she's laughing, and you hear Chewbacca, and it's
Just
after
a good feel good video.
Oh my God, it makes me laugh so much.
you bit my finger,
I
Charlie.
have watched that. I wore my wife out. I wore her
Be
out.
the first time.
You wouldn't be the
What?
first.
Watching that video. I was talking about that video. Because evidently, I thought it says woman. It says woman's Facebook video has 77 million views in 24 hours.
The most
That's amazing.
ever.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
the most ever. The most Facebook watch video ever to be published on a social network.
Have you tried to get in contact with her so we
No.
can interview her?
Oh, I absolutely will.
Yeah, you have to do that. One thing that we're going to start doing is
Oh, we'll get her on her next week.
getting some weirdo people either on YouTube or Facebook. and
Weirdo.
they-
Now she's not going to come on. You're saying
Listen, do
she's
you
a
know who I
weirdo.
tried to get? Did I tell you who I tried to get on the
not
show?
sure.
Do you guys know who the Matthews are? The dancing Matthews?
Yeah. We talked about this.
Oh, did we? Okay, listen, I tried to get them. I sent them a message, but I haven't yet to hear a reply. But man, that would be
That would
fantastic.
be cool. wouldn't
They're like the
it?
people that
hillbillies.
they're just like they just do videos. They hit record and then all they do is just nothing, basically like what we do. But it's kind of funny because they're doing it in their kitchen. They could be dancing 1 minute, or they could bumping uglies the next minute, or whatever. It's fantastic.
Oh my
That's
God!
funny.
And sometimes she'll get on there and she'll start ranting and raving about her husband and all this, and oh my
We
God,
need to
she,
get some local news people too, or something on here.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean.
Some people that are around in the whole area.
One
the
thing,
Rockin' Matthews.
one thing
baby.
that's going to happen in the next few months, anyhow, is that the podcast is going to stay alive. But we do also do a thing. If you're not used to Rogan Radio, we do a thing called the Social Hour, and basically what that is, we tried a new thing tonight, to where we were going to broadcast live both to Facebook and YouTube at the same time using the same feed, because before we would do two different feeds, and I didn't have the credentials in there right, which it didn't work out, but we'll get that.
Yeah, you'll fix that next week.
But if we next week, that's what I mean. The social hour is going to be one of those things to where it's not going to be normal like it would be when when days are days and days start turning into nights. It's going to be a lot easier for us.
Well, summertime's real busy. We've explained all this before.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And people got stuff they're doing. They, I can't expect them to stop and listen to us, although the true fans really would.
Yeah, but they'll listen to the podcast, and that's predominantly what we are. So that's That's pretty special. We had a great time up at Lincoln High School on Thursday, seeing all the graduates. We once again want to thank Lincoln High School, Jimmy Lopez, Tawny Ash for getting us kind of lined up to do that thing, and it turned out to be like a last minute deal for us.
Boy, it turned out good though.
And we we had a great video. We turned out a great video for that.
And they go right on Rogan Radio on Facebook, and you can check that out.
Oh,
And like
absolutely.
we mentioned in the social hour, listen, even if you're not from around here, check it out because Chuck's got that drone up in there. Man, that is just beautiful. Watch it on YouTube, right? I mean, that's where you really want to watch it.
Well, the funny thing is that Facebook has a, how can we say it? They have a feed that you can hit HD, but is it really HD? You know what I mean? And compared to like when you watch it on YouTube, it's a completely different process. And when you go to YouTube and watch it, you can actually literally get 1080p, 60 frames per second, as it was recorded, how we recorded it.
Yeah.
Facebook's not like that. It's probably more like 480p. So, but in the window of a cell phone, it looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But we had a great time for that. Want to thank everybody for that, and especially the film crew here at Rogan Radio. Because we just
Big
didn't
shout
know.
out.
Listen,
Yeah.
we literally didn't really have plans to do it until what, 5 hours before it actually went
Yeah,
down.
I think you and I were on the phone. It was a noon or so, and you said, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
I think we got a gig."
Yeah, and then Jimmy was learning his new safety course up there.
At the mines.
Well,
At the coal mines.
Jimmy got laid off at the mines, sadly. So he's learning this
I was
new
just
job.
up in Pittsburgh. We'll
He
say
was,
that.
yeah.
There's
So
a
he
new
was,
mine opening up there at Pittsburgh.
well, it
mine.
was training, safety training.
Yeah.
And then I called up Jimmy. Said, Jimmy, we got this thing tonight. And he's like, what? You got to be kidding me,
You
man.
kidding me? I ain't been
I'm right in the middle of
home yet.
class. I was like, listen, get your ass
Yeah,
down here.
I
And
literally
boom.
I literally walked in the door, changed my shirt to Rogan Radio shirt,
Right.
and drove over to the school
You're a great guy. Why didn't you bring your video camera?
because I grabbed my video bag, and when I looked in there, I was like, fudge! It was
Sickle!
And when I went home, I had my camera and stuff, so we got some good still shots. But
Yeah.
when I went back home, I looked at, man, that thing was laying right beside the bag. I
Oh,
just didn't see it.
because the pressure of it, of it, and Dean and Darren both they came down and helped us too because Dean's a great camera guy. He helped us out with the doing the.
It'll be great when he learns how to use his drone really good.
Oh, yeah.
And like you guys we could do like all kinds of cool stuff.
Simulcast
with
stuff.
We
it.
can
Oh,
race.
Yeah.
We can do drone racing.
well, I mean, just like and
Just even for like our videos and stuff.
Oh
we're gonna
yeah,
do,
because that's what's going to be where we lack when it comes to the social hour. We're going to be making up for in video because we're going to have all kinds of. We're going to we have the Ellis thing we're going to do, and then we're going to have some different maybe promotional things we're going to do. Some different. We have a great idea for some like little. I don't know what would you call them like not necessarily parody spots, but like comedy kind of
yeah,
spots,
comedy
sort of
skits, I
things,
guess,
comedy
yeah.
skits. So that all that's going to be coming up, and you can check all those out. We'll put both of those links up to Rogan Radio on the Facebook page and on YouTube. Now, when you go to Facebook and search Rogan Radio, it's two separate words. You can put Rogan then Radio, but when you do it on the YouTube, it's one word. Now, why that is? Couldn't tell you. It's probably something that Joe Rogan did to keep us from stealing his views. But whatever that is, we're also on. Predominantly, we're a podcast, and you would know that now. But if you're watching the video, which we do put up on YouTube, the podcast is on Stitcher. It's on iTunes. It's SoundCloud, Google Play Music now. It's all over the place. And then the nice thing about a podcast is that you can listen to that anytime you want. You can listen to 10-minute segments at a time, whatever it might be. And to be quite honest with you, there's so many different things involved in a podcast that when you start getting into podcast, you can listen. You could go from Rogan Radio. We're going to listen or talk to John Starkey. They do in Fairmont. They do a wrestling. Like
Yeah,
a recap
you
thing.
mentioned that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're going to, and they do a wrestling podcast, or you can listen to a conspiracy podcast. And some are great, some are not, but it's all a learning process for everybody, of course. And what's really neat about it is that for the entire most of your day, you can listen to all these different podcasts at your will. That's the beauty of it. That's the absolute beauty of it. So with that being said, once again, we really appreciate you listening to us. We want to send you in a direction before we jet jet out of this segment.
Jedi out.
Donnie Everett, a big friend of the show. He has a new show. It's called Tundra Talking. Tundra Talking. I should
Tundra
say.
talking. He does everything from his tundra.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's actually not a podcast. It's actually on the Facebook, and he does like a vlog, I guess.
Vlog. Oh, like a video blog.
A talking
Yeah.
blog.
Yeah, exactly. And he just basically on his way to work or wherever, he hits, the record button on his phone and just starts, every single day, Monday through Friday is a different theme. Motivational Mondays. And then it goes on
Freaky
from there.
Fridays. Throwback Thursdays.
No matter what it is.
What the
Once
hell
again, Mark
Wednesdays?
Coffey's in the house. Mark, where's your hand?
He's waiting.
Yeah, there it is.
Hey, speaking of Darren Hardman, just real quick. Speaking of Darren Hardman helping us out with the video or showing up real quick,
Right.
He had a really cool post on Facebook that I noticed. It was talking about West Virginia no longer has a city above 50,000 in population.
You know what?
Not a single city in the entire state.
What's the population of like 600,000? Something like that.
Of the entire
For the whole state?
It might be a million.
I don't know.
It might be I think the entire population of West Virginia is less than it is for the city of Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, I would
Yeah.
say, I would think Morgantown or Charleston would have a 50,000 population.
Well, I'm sure when they're counting that, they're not counting students.
yeah,
Yeah,
So,
when the every year when the students leave, the population drops about 40,000.
Yeah. So I mean, the students bring a lot into that, and then when they're gone, it's gone.
yeah.
Then it's all back to small town Morgantown. And what's going to be kind of crazy about it is that now, not busting on Morgantown or anything, Morgantown's always been, in a lot of respects, a big town in West Virginia. That's what you get for playing with the phone. That's probably my nice pen too. Todd just broke my pen.
Whoops.
When like a small town or a big town in West Virginia being like 60, 70, 80,000 is a small town in a lot of states, right? And then when you're talking about when the students leave, I've noticed a lot in Morgantown, especially lately, a lot of crime. I mean, a lot of violent crime.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be kind of curious when school's out how much
The crime goes down.
how everything will be quiet now.
Yeah, like
and until the students come back. Not blaming it on the students, but when the population comes in, and everything else comes in with it.
Well, it's because college students are freaking nuts, man.
That's right. They're crazy
Population
bastards.
in West Virginia is 1.85 million. That's as a 2004 census. No, 2014 census.
That's probably a lot less now because all the well guys left.
Oh, now it's 500,000.
Yeah, probably so.
Man,
Anyway, hey, we want to once again want to thank you for listening to Rogan Radio. Leave us a review if you watch us on Facebook or if on iTunes if you listen to us, or if you watch and listen to us on YouTube. Really appreciate that. It's Rogan Radio. All right, we're back on Rogan Radio.
And we are glad we are too back on Rogan Radio. In the studio tonight, we got special guest Bobby Ash. We
glad
got
we
Jimmy
are
West.
here.
We got Mark Coffey back here. Put your hand out there, Mark.
Come on, Mark.
And we
Hand
got
up,
William
Bobby.
Charles Rogan III. Thank you for listening once
Thank
again.
you.
Have a good night
This is
and
a
God
great-
bless.
Yes.
Good night, people. Some crazy things happening now between the Earth. And we're going to have, man, what are you doing with that? Todd is playing with this pen. Just absolutely. Listen, that's why we got the stress beater, man. It doesn't make any noise.
Now you're sounding like him slamming
You
beers.
told
on
me
the
to put
table.
my beer down, and you do that shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm just slapping the table with my pecker.
Jimmy, tell us about this thing. I mean, because we're
Well,
kind of
we were talking originally
Mars.
about Mars,
right.
about being able to see it with the naked eye for the first time. Of course, if it's not cloudy like it's been the last 5 months in a row. But anyway, it kind of got me looking, and I found this. There's a planet. Well, it's not really a planet. It's actually an asteroid, like we like to call them.
You an ass?
And it's called
Droid.
Sirius. Sirius. It's a dwarf planet. I guess it's
Right.
It lies in the asteroid belt, which is between Mars and Jupiter, in their space right there, or whatever. And it's just an asteroid, but it's almost like a miniature planet. It's really big, and I never really heard anything about that. And I was a big space guy and everything.
Sure.
I just found it was a little odd that Because shoot, it was discovered back in 1801. Man, it's just it looks like our moon basically.
How do they find anything in 1801?
I
They can't
know.
even dig a
Yeah.
freaking
I know,
outhouse.
that's
Well, hey,
what I'm
listen,
saying,
they knew the world was flat or round in Galileo's time, allegedly.
Well, that's kind of still
Yeah.
in debate, isn't it, Chuck?
in a lot of ways. But
How-
continue, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying that I just didn't know that this little so-called planet, they call it a dwarf planet, but it's actually an asteroid because it's in the
What's it
asteroid
called?
belt there.
What's it
It's
called?
called Sirius, like
Sirius
like
satellite.
it's a CERES. Look it up, man.
Well,
It's-
didn't they declassify Pluto as a planet too?
yeah, but now it's a planet again. I think.
See, they
Is
can
it,
make up
is
their
it the
mind.
planet?
What, Pluto? Or is it a dog on Disney?
So this is
And that was a dog,
the
wasn't it?
radius is 473 kilometers. I mean, it's a pretty big asteroid.
oh,
It is a
absolutely.
miniature planet. You know what I mean? But I just thought it was kind of neat. I just figured I'd bring, you know, if you have time to look it up.
Because this will be the closest it's been to Earth in. See, that's what when it comes
But
to
you're talking
stuff
about
like
Mars now, right?
Mars, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to like celestial objects and how they pass in orbit and things like that, it's absolutely interesting for the fact of that we think we know what we're talking about. Well, you know, we necessarily, you know, just well, let's put it this way: we came up with GPS not too long ago to kind of navigate around the Earth, but yet before that, they knew about all these different orbits and all these things around the Milky Way or the galaxy and the solar system and all that stuff. So I mean, that's just kind of bizarre, and I guess that's been through nothing but observation. I guess.
Yeah. Who knows? I was reading it too, and it was saying that it's the largest. Let's see, it's the 33rd largest known body in the solar system, but one of the largest in the within the orbit of Neptune. And I guess it's what did it say here? Let me see. It's the only object in the asteroid belt known to be rounded by its own gravity.
Well, so it's got a lot. Of,
Yeah.
it's really dense then.
Yeah.
And that's coming. I mean, you can see that tonight's going to be the apex of that, right? Or the next couple of days, I guess.
Again, Mars.
Well, Mars. Yeah.
All Mars.
No,
Yeah,
I
they
was-
said
I-
tonight.
Yeah, I was thinking about Mars, and I just kind of saw this thing when I was looking through stuff, and I thought it was kind of interesting.
I see what you're saying. Which is, we need to break out the telescope and go out there and check this thing out.
I think we need to have the telescope out.
Yeah.
Tonight's the night.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was kind of raining out there a little bit ago, so it might
Well,
be too.
then you know if it's raining, then that means clouds, and clouds mean you can't even see anything.
Yeah.
I know. It's
That's
no
a bummer,
use.
and that's another kind of thing that you know this has been a really wet, kind of rainy season. We had the cicadas coming out. You know what? They were starting to come out of the ground, and in a few places they were coming out bad. I mean, they're thick.
Have you seen people out there just knocking? I've seen a lot of people out there on my route just knocking them off the trees. Knocking them off the trees. Not that it's going to do any good.
Well, the funny thing about it is that you can tell what trees they like. There's like in Lumberport, like I have a lot of wooded area around where I'm at, and I have zero. I don't see there is not a cicada around this place. You drive a half a mile down the road, and they're covered. When I was driving out of town, the guy's garage are covered in cicadas.
Really?
Just covered, right up there by the water board, the gas place there in the L&S Gas in Lumberport.
That's weird.
It is Erica Cool. Her ground has literally, you can't see grass. All you can see are cicadas coming out. And
That's
I'm
crazy. I know. I remember
Birds are
that. Like
going nuts.
17 years ago, I was new to the area then. And, man, I remember when they came out, and there were so many flying through the air. They were getting in your hair, and you were driving over them, crunching them. And I haven't seen that yet, though. So
That's what I
don't
mean.
know if that's just to come. They're just coming out now.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Well, I think we're expecting them whereas before we didn't really know what to expect. So now that we're with age, you know, 17 years gives you a lot of time to forget stuff, right?
Yeah.
And but the big thing about the cicadas are when they start singing.
Yeah.
When that sound, that honest to goodness, it never ends for 6 weeks. You'll that pulsating sound. It'll just drive you crazy. And how they all come into sync with each other is baffling to me. And what the even more baffling.
It's their love song, man. They're saying each other, "We love you,"
Well, that's what I mean. And they spend 17 years in the ground.
only to come out for what 6 weeks and mate.
And
To
then
go
die.
back in the ground?
No, they
And then
die.
They
They
mate.
die.
die.
Well, they mate, they lay their eggs, and then they die. Right?
And then
Yeah.
the process repeats every 17 years.
Yeah.
But what is the
What's the
why?
point? What's
yeah,
the point? You wait 17 years to have sex, and then you die.
I did that. Actually, it was a
you
little
didn't die
longer than
yet.
17 years.
I mean,
It was
die
like
yet.
29 years.
It just what I would like to know about cicadas, if we can, if we know a cicada expert, is how much through ecology like moles. I'm having more mole problems than I've ever had, and I guarantee it's because those things are on the ground and those moles are just going in there and eating. They're just eating like crazy. Birds are going to have a buffet with all this.
Oh, I've already seen them things tearing them cicadas up.
Now, what I did hear though, blackbirds, when the cicadas come out, you won't see any blackbirds. And the reason being is because blackbirds, they actually are a group. They talk to each other. They sing to each other.
What
But
do they
because
sing?
that pulsating sound that the cicadas make, they can't talk to each other. So the blackbirds just split. They leave. You won't see any blackbirds.
Something about crows, too. What did we hear about crows?
Probably it'd probably be about the same thing, the way they talk to each
Blackbird,
other.
crow, kind of similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, blackbirds are little birds, and crows are freaking huge, man. You ever been right next to a crow?
Yep.
That thing is like a giant eagle. No, it's not.
Listen, I wish we had more giant eagles around here. Or a
Like a
Kroger's.
Shop and Save or a Kroger's.
You get what you said? That little play on that? Right?
Hey, where,
Shut the hell
hey,
up.
where are the eagles at? Where's the eagle nest up in Pittsburgh? Is that Mount Washington?
I think it's more to the east, I believe, towards like Sandcastle and stuff.
Okay.
I think it's up on the hill there.
The-
I love eating at Sandcastle.
There was it's White Castle. There was a story about where the eagles, they brought back to the nest a baby cat.
Really?
It was already dead.
Yeah, it was already dead.
Oh.
But I mean, they everybody's watching this
Everybody
thing
went freak.
because they have this like eagle cam up there watching these things, and the next thing you know, mama or dad comes in, flies in, because they're eagles, they're big birds. Listen, those are big birds too. Like
They're ginormous.
hey, listen, like a woodpecker, like a red-headed woodpecker.
Woodpeckers are
listen,
big.
that thing right there is a big bird. That thing will knock you out. But anyway, they fly a baby cat in there, and them things just go to town.
And they just start eating.
They don't know. They thought it was Chinese food, man.
That would be horrible to watch on the the old eagle cam. Like, what the hell? It's a kitten.
Yeah, it was already dead though.
Yeah, but they didn't know that.
Mom and dad
Oh.
Mom and Dad have already taken care of all that action. I assume, because you know how nature is.
No, I don't.
But anyway, just as a reminder, we're going to call this a podcast. We might do one for Memorial Day. We have some pretty cool topics. But as far as the social hour goes, that if you're like a regular listener to Rogan Radio, we do this thing called the social hour, and that's normally a live shot. Well, that's going to kind of end. For the most part, I mean, on a regular basis.
Right.
We might do one. We'll announce
Every
it.
now and then. Yeah, every now and then. Because basically we have things to do, and we're going to just do the podcast, which means in and out. We do our thing. We have a good time doing that. Instead of spending 3 hours doing a podcast, we'll spend about 45 minutes to an hour doing a podcast. But in the meantime, throughout the summer, we're going to have all kinds of great video. We're going to do some crazy stuff on the fly, which is going to kind of make up for that. It's going to be pretty interesting.
We got the spring fling coming up to be announced.
That's what I mean. The spring fling. We were supposed to have that spring fling by now.
Yeah, but I don't think it's really been warm enough.
Dude,
for
it's
spring
been
fling.
terrible.
It's terrible weather. I mean, it's like almost like the months, like the weather is like lagging like about 4 weeks. Come on. It's true. And you think about it. I mean, when did winter really start? Mid-December, late December, something like that. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden now we have to wait a month until we start getting into actual spring, and then that's when the cicadas come out, which will last into July.
Yeah.
And then school will start, and then all of a sudden we'll have our spring fling right around probably Labor Day,
Probably.
somewhere in there is what I'm thinking.
I think we ought to do this. I think like 2 or 3. Listen, we'll let everybody know,
Oh, absolutely, it's going to be a good time.
and we'll have it all videoed
Oh,
because we're
kidding?
good like that.
we have some crazy things we're going to do.
We did mention your graduation video, right?
The graduation video. We did a great video up Lincoln High School, local high school here in Lumberport, Shinston kind of area in West Virginia. We went up. We took the quad up. We had had 2 quads and what? 2 or
We had
3
two-
cameras or
yeah,
something like
Yeah,
that.
and if people think that this is all we do, they're wrong, man.
Yeah,
we
we do
are
a lot of
very
different things.
versatile.
And that takes up a lot of time too, by the way, especially for me, who I have to sit in the house. It took 4
4
hours to make a
Yeah.
4-minute video. How funny is that?
That's a lot of work, man.
That's
I
a
give
lot of
you
work. And
props to you.
And
buddy.
after it was all over, I looked at that thing and I said, this is a pretty good video, and I'm really a loser for doing it.
No, you're not.
Well, I mean, because I had nothing.
You are one pathetic loser.
Loser.
I'm thinking if I had kids or something like that, I'd be like, you know what, I would not be able to do that. It's probably a good thing I'm a divorced guy with nothing else to do, or none of this would happen.
We all thank you. The students of Lincoln High School thank you.
It turned out really nice though. It was a good time.
The other schools that you have shot down, thank you.
Hey, we weren't going to talk about those schools.
No, listen, we are a loyal. Plus, you know what? You just don't have time, buddy.
Yeah, we don't have time because it takes all of us, and then
it takes a village.
It does take a village. But listen,
maybe one day.
Once again, we're on Facebook, Rogan Radio there. YouTube, go ahead and open up that YouTube app. Put Rogan space, or no, it's actually one word, Rogan Radio.
Right.
And that's basically for links we put up every day or like little videos we do here or there. The meat of it's going to be actually in the podcast. That's going to happen every week regardless. You can check that out on iTunes if you have an iPhone. If you're on Android, which you could listen to SoundCloud and Stitcher both on that, but it's a lot easier if you're on an Apple phone or an iPhone to use iTunes. But if otherwise, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, go ahead and do a search for Rogan Radio. You'll see the little logo pop up.
Hey, real quick, somebody was asking me about Spotify. Do we know anything about Spotify?
We're on Spotify. Actually, Christian put us on there somehow.
Okay, Spotify on that.
We're on Spotify.
We're still
and
up
Pandora, believe it or
Right.
not, somehow. I didn't even submit that thing. I didn't even know you could do that, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I
with
didn't
you.
either.
Yeah, I didn't either. I don't know how that works. So, but we're on there because that's how Mom and Dad listen to a lot on their Sonos thing. They have one of those like Bluetooth things at the house, so that's how they listen to it.
Thank you, Rogans.
But on behalf of Mark Coffee, where's your hand at, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Mark
There it
Coffee
is.
is coming.
There it is.
On behalf of Bob, Jimmy, Todd, and myself, we would like to once again thank you for listening to Rogan Radio. And until the next time, go ahead and leave us a review on our Facebook page. Oh, we didn't do a quote of the week. Whoa, hold on.
Do we have one?
No. Jimmy, get some applause. Get some applause because I have one right here.
Get it ready.
Oh, no, maybe I don't. Where's my daggone phone? Oh, no, good thing I carry two phones on me because I have it right here. I am glad I thought of that. Right. And
do we know who it's from, or we just have a number?
oh,
'Cause I'd like to have a
I
name.
can tell you this. It's not from Mark saying toenails, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
It's the very first one there. Okay.
The very first one. This is from
Quote of the week.
Quote of the week from phone number 7742.
Yep.
Quote of the week. Hillary sucks, but not like Monica. Get it. Not
And
like
with that
Monica?
being said, we once again thank you for listening to Rogan Radio.
Realize if she wins, she'll be sitting behind the same desk that Monica was under, right?
And once again, thanks for listening
she
to
will.
Rogan Radio.